I don't respect him anymore because he say I'm not gonna do what they want me to do and this and that, and then he tried to, maybe Turkey told him, hey, you need to do something because you seem so nervous in Riyadh. So, and he tried to like walk me back, and that's why I pushed him. And I guess, hey, don't win me.
Does it bring a different Canelo then?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, you watch Saunders fight, right?
Which one? The Saunders. Oh,
he pissed me off. He pissed me off.
What happens when one of boxing's most cold-blooded tacticians loses control and decides to settle things with his fists outside the ring? This isn't just a rivalry anymore. It's personal. Terence Crawford has just been arrested, reportedly, for during what was meant to be a private business meeting gone horribly wrong. The question is, how did it come to this? What could have pushed one of boxing's most composed?
Never forget, Terence Bud Crawford said about Canelo Alvarez that he was ducking black fighters. He stated, and I quote, he shied away from Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andre for a long time. When you look at Canelo's career, it's like he shied away from the black fighters. I think black fighters give him the most problems. Obviously, that's a damn lie. We've seen him destroy Austin Trout, Danny Jacobs, and now Jermell Charlo. So are we saying that those guys are not black fighters? Come on, make it make sense. Terence Bud Crawford was a Canelo hater. Never forget.
And calculated champions to finally snap at first. The jabs were subtle, veiled comments, light shots, and interviews that most fans brushed off as standard banter. But underneath it all, tension was brewing. Crawford accused Canelo of consistently avoiding top black fighters, suggesting there was a pattern of strategic ducking.
Even though you see a small fighter, when you look in his eyes, do you see a fighter that could possibly beat you?
No, never.
It was a bold claim, one that sparked heated debate across the boxing world. Canelo didn't stay silent. He fired back, saying Crawford hadn't done enough to earn a fight with him. On the surface, it sounded like a typical champion brushing off a challenger, but to Crawford and his supporters, it felt like blatant disrespect. This wasn't just about boxing. Credentials.
Crawford coming up September. What do you think about that fight?
Canelo Crawford. Good fight. Good fight. Canelo has advantage because Crawford moving up, but my advice to Crawford is like maintain the speed, improve the speed, and improve the strength. Because it's hard to go up in high weight and maintain your speed. So speed is the key. Like, he should focus on speed, footwork, and improve the power.
It was about recognition, legacy, and a perceived lack of respect. What made it worse was the tone. Canelo's response wasn't laced with the usual sportsmanship or professional courtesy. It came across as dismissive, almost condescending. Too many, his words weren't just defensive, they were offensive. It no longer felt like harmless trash talk. It felt personal.
Is there anything that scares you, Canelo Alvarez? What frightens you?
Nothing about boxing.
No.
This is what I love.
Yeah.
So
That's when everything shifted. The rivalry crossed the line from professional to personal. And for a fighter as disciplined and cold-blooded as Terence Crawford, something clearly snapped. As Terence Crawford rose through boxing's pound-for-pound rankings, his dominance became impossible to ignore. With each victory, he silenced doubters and forced the boxing world to pay attention. But one voice remained defiantly unmoved: Canelo Alvarez. And as continued to dismantle elite opponents, that lack of recognition began to sting. The tension didn't start overnight.
Of course, look, you've accomplished everything. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer. You've been undisputed now in 2 weight classes. This will give you undisputed championship in the 3rd weight class. But not just that, you're fighting an all-time great, and you know that the credit's going to go to you if you beat a guy like Canelo Alvarez at 168. Is that why you want it?
Well, when I beat him.
When you beat him.
Definitely. The stakes is high. It's high risk, high reward type of fight. And I'm looking forward to it.
When would you say, from memory, that you...
It built gradually, over years of indirect shots, subtle dismissals, and interviews. Name was conspicuously absent from Canelo's list of worthy challengers. Yet Crawford kept grinding. He didn't let the snubs break his focus. Instead, he sharpened his skills and tore through the competition with surgical precision. Was considered the boogeyman of the welterweight, strong, undefeated, and
First thought this fight was a real possibility. You started thinking about this fight actually happening.
Well, I started thinking about it, you know, a couple of years ago when they started talking about Spence fighting Canelo. Then just, you know, sizing him up, like, all right, how tall is he? You know, how long his arms and things like that. Just sizing him up like that and going towards fights and things like that. And when you walk out the ring, I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh, that big. You know, so me talking with Turkey and Turkey not wanting to fight. And me like, yeah, this is the fight that I want, being that, you know, he's the last great fighter of our era. You know, that was just like, you know.
Weird. But Crawford didn't just beat him, he dismantled him. It was a masterclass in technique, timing, and brutal efficiency. The win made Crawford the first male fighter in the four-belt era to become undisputed into different weight classes, cementing his place among boxing's all-time greats. The silence wasn't just disrespectful, it was loud. In an era where champions constantly seek out super fights to prove their greatness, Canelo's continued dismissal.
I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
So would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not Kovalev.
Kovalev was older.
And
he does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo?
It's a tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more. Try to get the fight even more. And I'm watching them, I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. Been fighting people bigger than me all my life, and I always came out on top. You gonna get hit. It's a fight. He gonna get hit too.
Of Crawford felt like a deliberate slight. Whenever asked about a potential showdown, Canelo brushed it off. His reasoning, Crawford hadn't done an offer. Crawford, that was hard to swallow. What more could a fighter possibly do? He had unified divisions, stayed undefeated, and embarrassed champions who many...
A little overrated?
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. And I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class. Can he carry it? You know, but those intent...
believed could beat him, and still, Canelo waved him off as if he were just another name to Crawford supporters. It was clear this wasn't about accomplishments. It was personal. Some believed Canelo saw Crawford not as a challenger, but as a threat, one that could jeopardize his carefully curated legacy. And with that came the speculation that Canelo was avoiding the fight. Not because Crawford hadn't earned it, but because deep down, he knew how dangerous Bud really was. As Crawford continued his run.
Now what the media is reporting, and it's circulating, is that Canelo Crawford is the biggest fight of the decade. I mean, to a purist and a fighter, it's laughable. Because you have Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's a natural light heavyweight. Crawford, who couldn't push back Madrimov. Life and death with Madrimov. What do you think Canelo's going to do to him? Run him out of the ring.
The divide between the two champions grew wider. The rivalry simmered, fueled by passive-aggressive interviews and social media jabs. But it was more than just ego. It became a symbol of deeper tensions about respect, recognition, and the politics of boxing's elite circle. And through it all...
Are you still favoring Crawford in the fight, or has your opinion changed?
I mean, I've always favoured Canelo in the fight.
Well, I've heard that you want Canelo to win, but you feel...
Of course, yeah. I like Terence. But I've worked a lot with Canelo, and I think just because of what I saw in Riyadh, and because of the threat, and he's getting on as well, Crawford, but it's just like the mindset of Crawford. Like, there's no doubt in Terence Crawford's mind that he wins this fight. And when you spend a bit of time with him, you kind of start buying into that. And I guess that's what happened in Riyadh, because I've travelled with him to the fight, and but it's a 50-50 fight. I think gun to head, I'm probably picking Crawford right now. But I want Canelo to win. And he can win for sure. But Terence is going to make it really tricky and awkward for him. And I don't think he's going to like that kind of fight.
Crawford's frustration boiled quietly beneath the surface. He wasn't just fighting opponents in the ring, he was fighting for acknowledgement outside of it, and when that acknowledgement never came, especially from Canelo, something shifted. The soft disdain turned into open contempt. The rivalry that once hovered in the shadows was now front and center.